Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Let's see what energy we are working with in today's reading. So if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Also, I do offer personalised readings as well, and you can find my details in the description box if you would like to book it in. So let's just see, we're going to use the moon cards today to give us a word that will represent what we're working with today, what kind of energy, and who we might be working with today. So if you've got a question on your mind or something that you want to know, just put that into the forefront of your mind right now. If it's more about what hidden things you need to know about, perhaps it's that, then just ask for whatever is hidden in your subconscious right now, for it to be illuminated, for you to see, made into a conscious thing. Okay, we have commit, closure, and observe. Very interesting. So I do feel like this is about choices. This is a reading, I feel, potentially a love reading. When we look at commit, for me, commit is usually where we have been through an experience that's made us really realise how much we put effort into other things other than ourselves sometimes. Now that could be work related or relationship related, but when you take a chance to commit to yourself, you kind of awaken this light within you. And this is what people call, if you've come out of a bad relationship and people have what you call a glow up, where they just seem to start to look great or glow differently. They have a sort of energy about them that they didn't have before, maybe because that relationship was suppressing them, or they just suddenly stop putting their energy into other people and other things and put their energy into themselves. So commit is kind of like that, I would suggest. But this can also signify a want for commitment as well. So this might be where maybe you've illuminated to an idea of commitment. You've made a choice. You've made a decision on there. Now, with closure, everybody wants closure, don't they? It's not nice to have sort of things left undone, left unsaid, hanging around. And, sometimes especially in a relationship sense, what is closure? What exactly is it that you want from another person in order to move on? So if there are unsaid things, or, there's an inability to actually be able to communicate with that person to gain what you perceive as closure, you have to kind of go within to find that closure. Then you have to look within yourself, and that brings us back to commitment. It brings us back to that commitment to your own journey. It's not always healthy to keep trying to get somebody to come round to your idea about what happened. So like if, for instance, what I'm getting from this is where a relationship has potentially ended in a bad way. Sorry, I keep feeling like I've got webs all over my face at the minute. If a relationship has ended in a bad way, and maybe something's happened where you feel like you weren't able to get your point across, or you weren't heard, or someone's gone gossiping about you behind your back, saying things or something like that, there might be a want for this closure to kind of put your save face basically, or put things straight so that you don't feel like your name's been tarnished, that kind of thing. But you know what? It's not always necessary to do that, because at the end of the day, truth always comes out. And I do feel there's an element of this about truth, and truth being exposed, truth being illuminated. So perhaps closure for you is about exposing this truth, allowing that to come out. And it does seem to me like there's a bit of a choice between making a commitment or having closure. So it could be that this particular situation, you've got two choices. You can either gain closure from it, or you can have a commitment from it. And we've also got observe. So with observe, and I would be so surprised, there's a rune that I imagine would come out with this, that has been doing the circuit for the past few days. It's kind of like sitting in your own energy and really thinking about, what do I actually want out of this situation? Do I want commitment or do I want closure? Which one do I want? And to really know the answer to that, you kind of need to try and imagine both scenarios. So try and bring into your mind both scenarios, and then in your heart or even in your solar plexus, how does each one feel? So the thought of closure and maybe, saying goodbye to maybe a person or whatever it is that you are wanting closure on. How would it feel to have that closure? So if you get a light feeling or a feeling of like, oh, it actually feels like, really good, like I can really move on now, I've detached from that, then that might be your answer. When you look at commit, if you get that same feeling again, then, maybe that is how you're feeling. Or perhaps if you get an excited feeling from that, then maybe that's the way to go. So it's judging how you feel in both directions. So imagine both scenarios, like I've just said. I'm repeating myself, I know, but it's just to get it clear inside of your mind so that you can know and then drop into your body as to how it would feel. So how does it feel to get closure? How does it feel to commit? Which one gives me the best feeling? Think about that. That's what you need to observe. That's what you are looking at. That's what you're heading into, okay? And that will give you the answer as to what you need to do. So I think we know what the thread is today. So I'm going to just work with the runes now. Let's pick 3 runes to guide us on this decision. What do we have? We have Swillow, the rune of intention. I don't know if you can see that. I feel like I'm really far away from the screen today. So Swillow, it looks a bit like Harry Potter's scar. Swillow is an energy of the power of the sun, so life force energy. It's what we intend, so our intentions for ourselves is the work of Swillow. And it can also mean about physical healing as well. So I do feel for some of you, you've really kind of been working on yourself, maybe bringing a lot of life force to yourself. Maybe you've been doing more exercise, eating well, drinking plenty of water, that kind of thing. So there's an energy to it there that you have been kind of observing yourself, almost like you've been working on yourself, ready to make this decision, like it's taken you perhaps a little bit of time. You've had to get some things right in your life before you could make this decision. I knew it was going to come out, Manas. This is the rune that I was thinking about when I looked at the word observe, because Manas is all about that observing yourself, how we appear to the world. Our awareness of ourselves and how we present to the world around us. And I feel like this particular decision that you're making here is actually a life-changing decision. You need to think about it carefully, because it feels to me like once this decision is made, you can't really go back on it. For many of you, it's a commitment that will lead on to other things. And I am feeling like it's feeling like something that can raise you up on a spiritual level, as well as potentially a financial level as well. Whereas the other side kind of feels a little bit like there is no end to the closure, if that makes sense. If it's nice to be able to sort of be in a room full of people or with one specific person, if that's what it's about, and be able to sort of say your piece and they say their piece, and then you say goodbye and you move on. But I'm getting an energy that there isn't the ability to do that, because this is something on a different level. And with Manas, I'm getting the energy of somebody that's actually sort of been trying to move forward from the last time there was closure on this, but actually been feeling quite melancholy or quite down, or something's been holding them back. And perhaps this awareness now is about, I'm actually not really wanting to move forward without this. Maybe that's the feeling that we're getting on there. So knowing what your intention is, knowing what you want to get out of this particular decision is possibly the key to the answer. We have Ingwas. Now, Ingwas is actually a rune of commitment. This is a rune of trust. Trusting what you have been guided towards. So you've spent a lot of time reflecting, and Ingwas kind of represents like an egg that you would put yourself in, an egg that allows you, like a chrysalis almost. It allows you to go through a process of transformation. So your awareness and your intention has been all part of that, and that's what you intended for yourself. I feel before making this decision is you intended self-healing. You intended to really get to know yourself on a deeper level to be able to move forward. And what you're being guided here is to trust the process. Trust the process. Trust and commitment. There's a lot about that. This does come out, this is the balance of masculine and feminine. So there is masculine and feminine involved in this. It's almost like the top part of it is the masculine and the bottom part of it is the feminine. A bit like Gebo, where it's a balance between masculine and feminine and sacred marriage. And this is more about trusting. So there's trust on there. And you are being asked to trust what you are being guided towards. Trust yourself to discern this path or that path. Okay? And that is listening to your body. So when you think about this particular path, I'm going to say it again. When you think about closure, how does that feel? Instantly, think about it. How does that feel? When you think about commitment, how does it feel? Instantly, think about it. Okay? Now, I'm guessing that they're not going to both feel equal, to be honest. Or maybe they do. Maybe there is a need for a truth to be expressed. Maybe there is a need for something to be like all cards laid out on the table, pretty much. And then trusting that in that truth coming out, that, you know, things are going to go the way that they go. Things are going to be, you know, and things can be surprising sometimes. You never know how something's going to go. You can't prejudge how somebody is going to respond to you and what your wants and needs are. So maybe, for instance, if your journey was more the closure side of things, if you're afraid to sort of ask for closure from a person because you don't think they're going to let go of you, it's not up to you to withhold that information and keep that person hanging there if you know that that's what needs to happen. Because as much as it might upset that person or hurt that person, you know, that's the people pleaser part of you that is coming out there. That person needs to know so that they can move on. Or that company or whatever it's about, it needs to be done. Now, if it's more commitment, again, you know, maybe you need to know whether that is the option for you or not. Maybe, you know, this is kind of like, if it's something where you've been in a relationship for a long time, potentially, you know, and there's an opportunity for commitment there, you may miss the boat if you don't act now, because that person may get sick of waiting and move on, and then you'll have lost a chance, and then you'll come back to closure. So this is about, you know, really going from your heart here. So like, what does your heart really want? Allow yourself to trust yourself to make the right decision for you. Okay? All decisions can be reassessed and reviewed further down the line, you know. An opportunity for commitment can turn into closure further down the line. But an opportunity for closure is closure. It doesn't really have much of an opportunity to come back from that, I don't feel. It might do, but I don't think it would ever be the same, would it? Woo! Okay. I'm going to turn these two over. Whoops, and the runes as well. So we have got the Six of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So the Six of Swords in reverse. So this is kind of like, I think I'm going to put those ones back, but I'm going to look at the bottom one on there. So you've been through a real time of rocky waters, sort of like, you know, a lot of upheaval, a lot of things happening really, where I feel like you've felt a lot that you've had to move on. You've had to move on from a few things. But actually it's brought you to a place of peace. Where you are right now, perhaps you are in a place of peacefulness. And it's kind of making you wonder, what's next? Like, where do I go from here? What is next? What am I going to do next? And the Ace of Wands is about new ideas, inspiration, manifestation. So it kind of goes with Sir Willow very, very well. So you've had kind of a brainwave, or, you know, this is an idea that's come to you, but at the moment it's still an idea. It's almost like something switched on your intuition and you're starting to realize, actually, this is something that I really am feeling right now and I need to do something about it. It's almost like this has been hanging over you for a little while now, and it just feels like loose threads that need either tying up or tying together, basically. Four of Pentacles. This is an energy of somebody that's holding on, that's struggling to let go. So when you struggle to let go of something, you know, but it can also be about like trying to protect yourself as well. So I do feel for many of you, perhaps you have been through, you know, painful situations in the past. Maybe you've had like marriage breakup, or loss of job, that kind of thing, that's kind of making you worry about being able to let go, to move forward. So there's an energy there of, you know, there is something to do with money on that. Whether there's a fear of not having enough money. So potentially, if there's anybody here watching and this is about work, you may be worried about leaving a job that you see as secure or stable and moving into something that's more on a self-employed level. So if that's you, that might be what you're holding on to, in which case you need to come back to this trust, okay? Trust in what you're being guided. You wouldn't be here and wondering about this and thinking about this if the idea wasn't there for you to make a change. And when an idea is there to make a change and it won't go away, it's calling to you. It's your higher self trying to connect with you, to guide you in a direction. So let's see, what other information do we have about your choices? Let's pick one for closure. Let's pick a card that represents the closure. So what happens if you pick closure? That could help you. What would happen if you picked closure? Let me see. What happens if we pick closure? Okay, let me just pick one from here. Okay, if you pick closure, we've got the Two of Cups. So actually, what this represents is if this truth comes out, if you actually allow yourself to say, right, this is what's been happening, this is how it is, this is what I'm doing, it's actually leading to a Two of Cups. So Two of Cups, this is union. This is two people coming together. So I do feel for some of you, the closure aspect of this is actually going to bring two people closer together. So where a fear may be about closure on something is actually going to make things worse or tear things apart or people being upset about it, actually it's bringing things like the closing of one chapter to start in the beginning of a new chapter. This is a new chapter for you. I do feel that. This is definitely a new chapter for you. And then if we look at commit, so this is bringing clarity. I can feel that. You're starting to feel more clear on your way forward right now. So let's have a look. Because I feel like there's been a fear of there would be conflict about it. There would be conflict about this. But actually this is kind of guiding you towards being open and honest. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, conflict. It's like there's a fear of, and this, okay, so this could be seen as two different ways. And this is what I think is going on in your head right now, is you might be seeing that picture and see it as people fighting for something, fighting for the same thing, okay? But then you might look at it another way and see somebody that is able to climb up and out to reach something, okay? So how we think something might be taken or viewed could actually be very different to how it actually is. It can be elusive based on how you feel about things yourself. So that brings us back to manners. So what you're thinking and feeling about what this closure is about, actually, you might not be right. You may actually be perceiving things from where you're standing, from your awareness of yourself. You don't know the awareness of that person and how they feel or how they might feel. But I can guarantee that by bringing it out into the open, being able to say what you need to say, it does bring that closure. It will bring, a way forward for people. And it's looking like the way forward is bringing it to union, is bringing two people together. Take that how it resonates. Don't make it fit though. So let's have a look at commit. So if we look at commit, what do we get from here? Okay. So commit, we have the Magician. So this is about unused potential. There's something about manipulation here as well. So I do feel like, yeah, there's something here that needs to be addressed. And I've got the Five of Swords as well, which is kind of like, oh, there's a lot to do with dishonesty here and manipulation. So whatever this commitment is, or is supposed to be, is kind of looking like it may be a bit of an illusion on there. So maybe this is not the direction to take at this time. But again, you go with how you feel about things, but it does feel like there's a level of, manipulation and potentially dishonesty going on within that. So the commit thing sounds to me like something that is like taking something to the next level that you're currently in. The closure side of things feels like something that's been hanging around like a thread that's just been left there. And that seems to lead to a new beginning and a union. This side, this commitment side, seems to lead to something that actually is going to hold back your power, is going to stop you from moving forward. Okay. You do have some good news coming in. You do have some news coming in. That's quite interesting. I don't know what I've done with these cards, but they're not in the right way. Why is that one like that? Okay. So obviously take this how it resonates, and I hope this makes sense to you. But it is about taking a choice on a path. And I do feel like you are in the middle of something right now. You need to observe what feels right for you and what doesn't. Okay. So let's see, what is the final outcome for how you're feeling right now? Yeah, it's making you think about choices, decisions, what to do. So remember what I said, I'm going to say it again. How do you feel when you think about this side of things? Okay, now when we say closure, like I said, it feels to me like it's bringing something up potentially from the past that hasn't been discussed or brought out, and it's looking like that is leading you to potentially something new. So it's almost like a feeling of like wiping the slate clean, and maybe in that situation all that was needed was a bit of truth, a bit of honesty, a bit of something coming out. This side of things feels like a sticky web. This commitment side of things kind of feels to me like it's an energy of something that you kind of jumped into. But then, see, if you look at the Ace of Wands, there's like, it looks like she's got a web over her head. So it's almost like you've been in a fog during this time over here. And now it's leading to the next stage or the next step. But you've had like a light bulb go off in your head, almost like it's burning away this web, it's burning away this illusion. And you are starting to see things in a different way. So I may be completely off, and this might be completely wrong for you, but it's kind of feeling to me like the journey down here of this particular commitment is making you feel stuck or trapped. You're unsure. Whereas this side of things actually feels more of an energy of, you know, it's clean, it's being mended almost through something being exposed, through closure. So closure doesn't always mean like that's the end of that and close the doors, goodbye, gone. Sometimes closure can be where it's like we've got to this point and this is where we now can say, right, we'll be ending that chapter and we can begin again on this one. Okay, so that's the energy I am feeling from that. And we've got that Eight of Wands again. I don't know why that keeps coming out like that. So Eight of Wands is, it can be quite impulsive. So this is kind of like something that's come up quite quickly. A decision that's like, it's news. You've had some, okay, so you've been asking about this, which direction do I go, which option do I take? You've had some news come through or something's changed, and that may have enlightened you as to which direction you go into. Okay, so the direction that needs closure is looking like a fresh start, new beginning. The direction that is more this commitment is looking like a trap, basically. And whatever you were thinking about right then, whichever direction you were looking at, is the King of Cups. This is love and support and emotional fulfillment. So let's get a final card on here for what decision you're going to make. So whatever decision you're thinking right now as to which way you're going to go with this, and some of you I just heard like confused. Okay, so right now this is a time for you are staying in that introspection right now. So perhaps this is kind of making you realise, perhaps you didn't realise there were two paths that you could take around this. But the Hermit kind of holds an energy, it's that inner reflection, and it's asking you, it's calling on you to kind of meditate on this a little bit longer. Allow yourself to really know what decision you're making and really listen to how things feel. I do feel for some of you, you've already started to feel a pull in a particular direction. If you felt a pull in a particular direction, go with it, because, you know, this is what this rune is talking about. It's like, you know, not the commitment that I can feel is going on here where it's like, you know, taking something to another level. This is trusting yourself, committing to yourself and what you want to do, not what you feel you've been trapped into or stuck into. But in order to move forward on this side of things, there needs to be an element of trust in opening up and allowing things to be seen, to be said. So meditate for a little bit longer on there as to what to do with that. It's slow moving for you, I think. There's been this like switch on quite fast. Okay, yep, so I kind of see you walking away from something that's betrayed you, something that's hurt you here. This is like, you know, I'm letting go of this now, because it feels to me like you have been stabbed in the back, you've been hurt. So why would you want to go and attach yourself to something that you know is actually hurting you? Maybe you feel like you owe this person, or maybe emotionally it's holding you in a place. I don't know why I keep saying that. I do feel like perhaps this is to do with the relationship. But this is where someone's playing like victim mode around you, kind of keeping you trapped in something. Whereas like your heart's kind of like opening up to something else right now. And that's making you feel lighter. And you will know yourself which decision to make. And you have to go with what feels right for you. Okay? So take what resonates with this reading. If you would like to clarify this on a deeper level to understand what direction to take and where to go, then please do get in touch. But I'm going to leave this reading here now. Yeah, and I will speak to you again very soon. Have a blessed day.